President Trump pushing back the start date for tariffs yet again, and this time to August 7th. Meantime, leaders around the world are working to cut a trade deal with the U.S. Fox's Caroline Elliot joining us live from Toronto as Canadian leaders continue negotiations with the White House. Caroline.
Rashi, sources tell us that Canada and the U.S. will likely continue negotiations over the weekend, even after President Trump slapped that 35% tariff on Canada late last night. And according to President Trump, the reason behind this decision really goes back to the flow of fentanyl from Canada into the United States. Well, today, Prime Minister Mark Carney is now responding for the first time, saying, quote, the U.S. has justified its most recent trade action on the basis of the cross-border flow of fentanyl, despite the fact that Canada accounts for only 1% of U.S. fentanyl imports and has been working intensively to further reduce these volumes. The Prime Minister said negotiations will continue, but in the meantime, Canadians will be our own best customer. Around Toronto, signs now popping up in some stores that say, in response to U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods, products produced in the U.S. are no longer available until further notice. We're told Canada's negotiation team is willing to wait and fight for the right deal.
The White House is good at pressurizing negotiations. The President of the United States is a businessman. The Prime Minister of Canada is a businessman. It's a different tone of very quiet negotiations now, different than we've had in the past. We think that's the path to a good mutual deal. We'll stay at the table until that happens.
So far, the White House has cut around a dozen trade deals with leaders around the world. And according to President Trump, the deals could bring in trillions of dollars.
We're making a lot of deals. We're making deals for trillions, trillions and trillions. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We just made a couple of others.
World leaders now have until late next week to cut a deal with the U.S. before those tariffs go into effect. Rashi.